All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal Wednesday edition. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and I hope you're having a wonderful night. And thank you so much for being here and spending it here with us, because this is what we love. We love this. You good? Don's touching my buttons. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not alone here. I got my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard, here with me.
And I still haven't figured out why. That wasn't pushing a button. That was twisting a knob. Because I turned it up because we were listening to that thing.
Well, Don.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Let's dive in.
We're going in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, along with my good friend, Don Longbeard, and we are here to entertain. That's right, entertain all you. And we'll do everything we can short of juggling or self-mutilation. Anything short of that, and we're probably going to try just to keep people entertained, Don.
I think I'll take a pass on some things that went unsaid.
Well, anything beyond self-mutilation, of course, is already off the page. So, I don't need these. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's a Wednesday night, and we get 2 hours of this, so I hope you all are ready and you're feeling the love, because tonight we're going to kind of go for a lighter theme. It's been feeling kind of dark. We've covered a lot of dark stuff for a long time here on the Portal, and every once in a while I like to throw in a show that's happy, it's light and fun, and talks about some positive stuff. And every once in a while we still stumble onto a positive story, even when we're doing the dark stuff. But I thought, why don't we focus tonight on something really positive? And I don't know.
Oh, you mean like happy stories?
What?
Not like funny stuff that happens like last week when we stopped the stream.
Oh, yeah, that was just... Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Don screwed up the clock and got us all messed up.
Oh, my, okay.
That might have been
all
involved, too, on some level. But we ended up closing the show a half hour
Power
early.
Of suggestion.
Yeah. I was hypnotized. It wasn't my fault.
It was the beard.
It was the beard. His Medusa beard.
Oh, my God.
Got me all screwed up. But
does she have to feed those?
I don't know. I don't know how that works. Everything they get in front of her would turn to stone, though. So I guess they eat rocks, Don. That's all I can think. But anyway, now if we're done musing about Medusa and her wily hairs, but yeah, we had a weird night that night. But I thought it'd be fun to do some uplifting stories, things that give people hope. I mean, because the paranormal is dark.
Yes,
it's a dark subject a lot of times, but I think we kind of forget about the really good stuff that comes through, and that's why we need nights like tonight to just kind of remind us. What do you think about that, Don?
I think it's a great idea, Brent.
Thank you.
Agent
Thank you.
B.
Oh, you hear the cat? The
Yeah.
cat is just pissed.
Yeah, he's mad.
I don't know what he probably wants to go outside.
Oh, that's probably true.
Yeah, he thinks every night when the sun goes down is just the time he should be outside, and he and I don't agree on that point at all. In fact, I never agree with that. And so he ends up largely disappointed, but hopefully he'll get over it.
Darn.
So how many we got in here so far, Don? Who's here?
I'm seeing 41 viewing, and let's see here how big. I got a long list here.
Yes.
So let's start off with Ace Age. Hi, how are you? Barry's here. Beth. Bigfoot Michigan Rob, got Mr. Kerry Arnold with Bigfoot Odyssey. Black Tree is here. Bradley Rogstad, Brandon. We got Brent the Hater.
Brent the Hater.
Yeah, that's his name. Because I was like, what do you mean Brent's a hater?
I don't hate anything.
He doesn't hate anything.
I don't hate too much.
Got Dukes here, Brown Dwarf, Cameron, Cha-Cha, Ms. Deborah Varner. She'll be on next week, right?
No, she'll be on this Friday.
Oh, this Friday.
This
Friday.
Friday.
Excellent.
We're coming up with Deb. Free psychic readings here on the Paranormal Portal Friday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time, right here on the YouTube channel. So tune in if you'd like to have a free psychic reading. Deb will be here doing it.
Excellent.
And?
Got Donnie C., Elaine, Gentry. Hi, Gentry. I am Pam. Hi, Pam. How are you? Isaac's here. Josh, Linda. Let's see here. Loretta Weissett. That's a new name to me.
Hi, Loretta. Welcome to the show.
Well,
Thanks for coming in.
And Linda's a new name to me, too. I haven't.
Awesome.
So Lewis, of course, is here. We got Mog the Monster, Nelly, Robert Edgington, Paisley with spaces between. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Got a lot of people here tonight.
That is a lot of people. Thanks, guys, for being here. And it's still climbing. When you started, it was 41.
Yeah.
I got 46 now. So there's more and more coming in.
Did I get Brown Dwarf?
Well, you did now. If you didn't,
all right, there you go.
I was just going to say Brent the Hater staying true to his name.
Oh?
He goes, happy paranormal stories. Boo. he really is a hater.
He likes them scary ones.
We do the scary ones all the other times. So there you have it. But the phone lines are open, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to be a part of the show, you get a paranormal story of your own you'd like to share, we'd love to hear from you. And it's 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. So you too could be paranormally involved with us. Wouldn't you like to be paranormally involved with us? If you don't feel like...
Can I use salt?
You sure can. And deodorant, please.
Oh, God. Well, I use sage and black pepper. Why not?
That's a marinade, Don. But we are also available via email. I've been receiving a few emails now from some listeners that are submitting their stories to be read. Just as a note, if you send your stories in now, it'll probably be a week from... No, I think a week from Friday. Dan Pruitt's going to come on, maybe Saturday.
Okay.
I don't know. I got to talk to him again. He's reviewing some stuff. I meant today, ladies and gentlemen, to get up the Coloma investigations. However, my internet went out for a large part of the day. Bless you, Don.
Oh, goodness.
Yep. You okay?
Yeah, I'm
Something
fine. I don't know where that's coming from.
Well, I'll get better.
I got better.
That was like a really sudden sneeze, too, man. There was like no warning. It was like,
Yeah, I know. I was just...
Anyway,
Dang.
we'll have to wipe down the wall later.
Okay.
Yeah. We can be reached via email if you have a story of your own you'd like to share, and you can do that by emailing paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. So those are your options, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, we are $9.97 for likes on our Facebook page. 997. We are 3 shy of the 1,000. And not that that's the top, but
Don't forget, you got to like the page, not just follow it. You got to like it, because if you like it, you'll follow it anyhow. So like it and get both 2 for 1.
2 for 1. You just got to click once and you get 2 benefits. You
you
like it and then you follow it. So, but yeah, we're 3 away from that. So I'm excited to crack that 1,000. And Don, we got to start looking at doing some giveaways here. So we're gonna have to come up with some ways for people to earn giveaways or some kind of methodology behind that. So I'm talking about a t-shirt hat combination that we're going to look into starting giveaways, because I think those are great. And it's our way of saying, thank you to you guys out there, give you some way to walk away with a nice prize.
Yeah, we did that once on our 100th episode.
We did. And now we're going to head up to 1,000. Maybe we should do it for the 5,000 subs. We should do a big giveaway on the show. So we're going to look into that for the 5,000 subs. But maybe we'll give away a shirt and a hat and maybe a mug for the 1,000 likes on Facebook.
There you go. That's a great idea.
Yeah, so we'll come up with a way for you guys to participate in that as a way of celebrating that milestone.
That momentous occasion.
Yeah, we'll give away 3 different prizes, so we'll figure it out how to get you competing for that. Nothing against the law, by the way. Nothing illegal, but hopefully fun. But anyway, guys, tonight's all about angels, angelic encounters and stuff. So got some cool things pulled up. I hope you guys enjoyed them. As with any time we pull up stuff for the shows, sometimes it's just a gamble, because prior to the shows, we kind of come up with an idea, a theme, and then we start hitting the research. And this is some stories that I came up, and the first one so far looks good. I haven't read any more of them, but hope you guys enjoy these. And again, this is just, keep things positive. By the way, what do you think about that idea for the Halloween?
It depends on how long you want to do it for.
Well, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my God.
As a Halloween feature of the Paranormal Portal, I'm thinking this is just me thinking.
Ouch.
I haven't cleared it with Mrs. Portal, which could change everything.
Yeah, you got a point there.
But let me do that first, and then I'll talk to you guys about it. But all right. So anyway, because I don't want to.
We might need to line up some guests for that show too, though.
Yeah, we're talking about a portal-thon for maybe Halloween.
He said it.
And we'll have to look into what we can do. What times. When does it start? When does it finish? That kind of stuff. But
Marcus just said a 12-hour stream. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, it probably will be. That's kind of what I'm aiming at.
Jeez.
So I'm not sure when it'll start, when it'll be done, but
I like Isaac's idea. He just said a 3-hour show. I can get aboard that. That I can do.
That's probably all you'll show up for. But I'll be doing
the
other 9 hours, I guess.
Hey, Lean, how are you?
Good to see you guys. But anyway, here's the first story I got pulled up, and this is has to do with an angel appearing to somebody. So it says, during the Holocaust, my mom was a young woman with a small son. They were refugees in Russia, having fled from Nazi Poland, and my mom did everything she could in order to feed both herself and her son, who went to bed each night with a small crust of bread under his pillow. She traded goods in the black market for some material. With this, she intended to get food from a nearby farm. And when she reached the farm, the people were very kind. They fed her and filled her small sled with wonderful grains and vegetables. Well, she was absolutely elated. When she was headed home, it started to snow so heavily that the small sled became stuck, and she was unable to move any further. God, she prayed, what will happen to my little boy? Please protect him. Suddenly, a large sled with a horse appeared. The man in the sled had fur covering his legs and ice hanging from his handlebar mustache. What are you doing here? He asked. Where do you live? Well, my mom couldn't believe her luck. He took her along with her small sled and food and brought her right to her door. It was only right to invite him in for some hot tea. And when she turned around to thank him and invite him in, he was gone. No trace of him could be found. My mother was convinced he was her angel and the answer to her prayer. And so do I. Wow, huh?
Wow, that's crazy.
That's awesome. That's an awesome story.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
I was just noticing that we have 1,001 likes to our page.
Well, so I'll be putting together a giveaway and a contest probably for Saturday's show. We'll come up with some way to do that. So Don and I will be brainstorming. We'll have a celebratory giveaway on Saturday's show. Okay? You guys game? If you want to be a part of that, then you got to show up. So we'll figure out how to make it fun. So great story, though, huh?
Yes, it was a great story.
Wow. And those are amazing.
And those are the times when you really need something, and
God.
just, something just comes out of the blue,
So
ask and ye shall receive, of course.
Right. And, and I don't know. I kind of think those kind of things are really cliche because I know a lot of people are asking a lot of things.
Right.
And unfortunately, these things don't happen for everybody. I don't know why. I don't understand the dynamic. I suppose there is something to do with being on a path and certain things have to happen. But sometimes they can be skipped or removed. Some obstacles can be removed, and maybe there's some dynamic involved there, but that I don't understand. But still, I'm glad it does happen when it does, and I'm certainly thrilled for this woman that angel, I guess, showed up at the time it did. That's
Right,
really beautiful, really beautiful.
So, and also, you got to, it makes you wonder, that is there a difference between earthly angels and like, higher being type angels? I mean, because this one appeared in a human form,
Right.
And then disappeared, all of a sudden, and so it kind of, that's a question I have, is there, was this person, was it in fact a person that was moved by the hand of an angel? Or, some kind of protective spirit, whatever that is. And, or was it in fact a manifestation of an angel,
Right.
Giving that hand. So there you go.
Okay. Just had to answer text there. Yeah, that's interesting. Now I will say that I do believe that maybe the term angel is kind of misleading, and we think of these celestial beings, and they are
Right.
they are powerful celestial beings that allegedly serve the powers of good, and I believe they are. But I don't know if they can also be a manipulative force. In other words, manipulating things for good.
Right.
Because I believe that animals can be angelic in some cases. Like an animal will show up, and it's just the right thing that a person needs
Right.
at a time, that they really needed something, or else, things are going to fall apart. Or a person will show up and just be moved to do some really helpful action. So they sometimes become angelic. That doesn't mean they're always angelic. That doesn't mean they're always an angel, but they may have the propensity to be moved by a divine will to perform something that needs to be done.
Right.
So I think the term angel can be misleading, but I think it's really powerful. And you're right. We oftentimes have a very single definition
Right.
for what angel means, and I don't think it's a single definition at all.
Right.
So I got another one here that I want to read. And help me watch the call board, if you will, because
yeah.
I got to rearrange my monitors so it's not my blind spot. Someday I'll actually plan accordingly. But all right, so this May morning started out like any other day for me. It was hectic. Everyone running around prepared for the day. The boys went off to school, and we were all pretty excited about my daughter coming home for her birthday. Eddie, my eldest boy, was really looking forward to his sister's visit, as he really worshipped the ground she walked on. And it was 2 days from Dawn's birthday, and a time of celebration for us all. I went to work and the boys to school, and the day went on as usual. Dawn arrived around midday and rested and waited for her brothers to get home from school. Dawn called me at work and asked if it would be all right to take Eddie to the carnival at St. Joseph's Church, as her friends had invited her, and she felt it would be a great way to spend their time. Well, I agreed, knowing the kids needed to spend time together, and Dawn was 17 and responsible, and Eddie was 15 and eager to be with his sister. I returned home from work at around 6 p.m. The kids had gone on to the carnival, and my younger son was at home. I felt such joy and contentment to be home, and to know my daughter was home, and that we would have the weekend all together. I lit a candle, as I so often have done. I thank God for this everlasting presence in life, and went on about preparing for bed. I went to bed knowing the kids should be home around 11. Well, I couldn't rest. I was up and down and restless. Something was wrong. Something was amiss. I always knew when something wasn't right with my kids. I call them my mom signals. A feeling. I got up and sat at the table with the glow of a candle burning there, and laughed at myself for being silly. And once again, I just prayed to God to bless my kids and bring them home safely. At precisely that moment, the phone rang. It was my daughter. Her little helpless voice said, "Mama, what is Eddie's social security number?" Well, I was confused by the tone of her voice, and she was fighting to remain in control, and dumbfounded by her question. I paused a moment and asked her why. In the strongest voice she could muster, she said, "Mom, Eddie's been shot.
Oh.
He's alive, but we're in the hospital and they need his social security number." Well, I was hit by a bolt of lightning. Oh my God. I told her, "Hold on, stay calm." And I'd be right there, and they had been a drive-by shooting. The carnival was in a smaller town 30 miles away. By the grace of God, a neighbor and a friend was still up and took the time to drive me there. I was numb, no pain, no fear, nothing. I had no idea what to expect, but somehow I felt like God was with me. I had nothing to fear. Well, we arrived at the hospital to find my daughter, her friends, about half the population of our local high school, and the police. I flew by all of them and wrapped my arms around my daughter and proceeded to the emergency room where my son was. He was in critical condition and in need of life support flight to Seattle, Washington for major surgery, if he could be stabilized. His esophagus had been severed and one lung was collapsed, and this was definitely not anything the local doctors could handle.
Right.
This had been reported to us as an assault that would be a homicide by morning. The first faceless angel came into play immediately after he was shot. My daughter's quick thinking and this angel of direction's ability to help her find the local hospital were the first steps in many which attributed to our miracle. I sent my daughter and her friends home knowing Eddie and I would be transported via life flight as soon as he was stabilized. The local doctors and nurses did what they could to comfort him. I spent 3.5 hours holding his hand, listening to him tell me, "Mama, it hurts," begging him to stay awake, telling him how much I loved him and what he meant to me, and silently begging God to please not take my son. Excuse me. I wasn't prepared to lose him yet. The time finally came, life flight arrived and stabilized him enough to transport him. The second set of angels had arrived, and I felt a hand take my arm and lead me to the ambulance. Bob Johnson of Sunnyside Fire Department, and I remember his name as it branded on my heart. He led me to the ambulance, said some very encouraging, strengthening things, and put me on the plane. Angel of guidance, I'll call him. I can't remember the third angel's name or face, which saddens me. She helped me to find my place on the plane. I sat by Eddie's feet and held on to him, prayed like I've never prayed before, begging God to have mercy and please not to take my son. I hadn't realized it all the time, but the respiratory equipment on the plane was not able to supply Eddie the oxygen he needed to survive due to the complications of his injury. I realized it as I saw this angel's hands turn blue from never missing a stroke with the handheld respirator she used to keep my son alive. I saw the sky turn colors as I've never seen before as we approached Seattle. I thank God for that morning and the determined red-headed angel, I'll call her angel of breath and life, that kept my son alive for what seemed like an eternity. We transferred from plane to ambulance and hospital in what seemed like a matter of seconds. She never missed a stroke. As we arrived at the hospital, she said to me, "I have to hurry. He's in good hands now. I'm sorry I can't stay with you," and she sped off with my son. As I watched her go, I knew God had answered my prayers and my son would live to arrive home again. I collapsed in the chapel and wept and prayed and passed out from exhaustion, and to awaken to a successful surgery and the greatest miracle I had ever seen. So that sounds like these people became angels, and that's them performing their jobs, but still, can that be considered angelic? I don't know. That one just sounds like some really dedicated and amazing people nonetheless. I mean, I'm not meaning to diminish that, but that is pretty powerful anyway. I mean, thank God our boy lived.
Yeah.
What a horrible thing.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now, how old was he?
15.
He was 15. Okay.
Yeah.
So he was out at a carnival 30 miles away.
Right. Yep.
Wow.
And just happened to be a drive-by shooting.
Right.
I don't know where the carnival was, Compton, or what the hell's going on. That would sound like Washington, yeah?
Well, yeah, it'd have to be Washington, yeah.
Right, because they went all the way to Seattle. So right. Wowzers. That's terrible. I'm glad it all turned out okay, all things considered, but my God.
That's crazy.
What a horrible thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but again, I don't know if that's really paranormal or supernatural, but sometimes the dedication of people to perform their jobs is really nothing short of supernatural, really, in their effort and in their focus and concentration.
Right.
So I suppose in that respect, it could be that some people just rise way above and beyond to do the right thing, and that to me is really amazing.
That's angelic in and of itself.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you think about, like, today, ladies and gentlemen, it's the anniversary of the 9/11 attacks on the
Trade centers.
trade centers, and you think about angelic deeds of people. There were so many firefighters that ran into that building, knowing full well that
they may not come out,
that they wouldn't come out, but they couldn't sit by, knowing that people needed help and weren't getting it. I mean, when you think of heroic and angelic acts, every one of those people definitely would have to qualify as just supernatural. Their desire to help and do right, and their devotion to their job and their devotion
Right.
to help people is just, that's literally like divine love. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all I can say. And on this day, I hope that we all remember and we all give them our prayers and our thanks for their sacrifice as they work to save so many people. I don't know. I mean, it's easy to think what we would do in those situations, but honestly, most people would have ran away. Most people would have turned and left. I can't help. Sorry, I can't do anything. But those people went directly into harm's way, even when they didn't have to. Even when they didn't have to, when the scene became so unstable, they still chose to go in and help and do the right thing. So it's just amazing. Just amazing. So I hope you all remember today to just take a moment and, say a prayer for those souls that gave everything they had, because I don't think there's any more of a profound gift than to give everything you are for something that you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And those people did that and more. So let's go on to the next one.
How much time do we got?
What do you got?
What do I mean? What am I talking about? It's Whack Job Wednesday. Never mind.
We have exactly as much time as we need.
Okay. I'll quit worrying about time right now.
Yeah. Last time we worried about time, Don.
Hey, whoa.
Things went sideways.
Man, we got I wouldn't say a nasty comment about that, but somebody who wasn't in on the joke made a comment.
Oh, on our YouTube. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was
like, sorry.
Yeah.
Watch
Somebody
the first part.
Somebody watched part 2 and just made some crappy comment about, yeah, you wasted 8 minutes of my time. Well, we came back on and all we could do is laugh for about 10 minutes because it was just so dumb and funny. If you're missing what we're talking about on Saturday's episode, Don and I actually shut down the show a half hour early by accident. We were talking about time slips and stuff too. It was really funny. And we had our own time slip, and it was hilarious. But somebody decided that was the one they were going to check out for their first Paranormal Portal episode.
They said, nope, this show isn't for me. Nope. Whatever. Have fun with your time management.
Yeah, Don left a brilliant comment on there too. So if you get a chance, go check that out. Pretty hilarious. And I think it's fine. I mean, people get kind of crappy on comments on YouTube.
Wait a minute. So Dead Spider says, my wife just walked up and said, that guy looks like he's got unicorn hair on his face. What? I'm the farthest thing from a unicorn there could be.
It looks like a horse's mane. What is unicorn hair exactly?
I don't know.
That's wild. Look at me. Look at me. I don't know. Yeah, because some unicorns are depicted with that little beard thing on their chin.
Good point. Yeah,
that's cool. There you go.
I won't. I'll go with the angelic strokable hair, but I kind of have to reject the idea of being a unicorn.
All right, we got a call, so let's see what's going on here. All right, this is area code 210. You're on the air.
Hello, Brent.
Hey, hello.
How you doing?
Good. You got to turn down your speakers, brother.
Hey, yeah, turn them down, bro. Yeah, I'm hanging out with some other, how do you call it? Listeners, or we're really fans.
Oh, very
cool. That's the word I was looking for.
Cool. Could you turn down your speakers a little more, though?
Can you turn it down a little more?
Yeah, because it's feeding back to us and we're confused.
Sasquatch.
I'm sorry, what was that? Could you repeat that?
Is that low enough?
Yeah, that's perfect.
There you go, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, no, we're just here calling about a Sasquatch.
Oh, fantastic.
My friend recently just had a 999 or 911 Sasquatch call, right? Like right by your building.
Oh, what happened?
It's here in San Antonio.
Oh, tell me about it.
You're hanging out with Truth Hip Hop.
Yeah, Truth Hip Hop is actually the guy.
Oh, hey, okay.
and DJ Big Red wants to say, wanted me to give him a shout out.
Oh, very cool.
So
But,
what?
this is my friend, whatever his name is. Here, talk to him about the Sasquatch fireworks.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing wonderful, man. What's going on? Tell us the story.
Well, I was watching a little YouTube video a while back. It was talking about a Sasquatch encounter over by where I work.
Uh-huh.
And over here in the San Antonio area. And it was some people that were staying out in the woods. And they had like a tent out there. I think they were homeless for the moment.
Oh, right.
And yeah, and they had called the authorities, and they were talking about. I'm pretty sure a few listeners have seen this, but they were talking about how they had seen something that was not like anything they've seen, like totally looking like a Sasquatch, like really out of place. And
Right.
they said they saw it drag a deer carcass off with them.
Wow.
And they had to call the authorities about it because they were so freaked out and had no idea what to do besides that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, go on. I'm sorry.
No, I was like, yeah, I've heard that one, and it's pretty wild.
Yeah, out here in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is though, I walk around the area sometimes around that area where I work, and there's like random caves off the sides of the roads, and like near these caves there's huge like areas of woods that are like uninhabited and all kinds of stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Like I want to go looking like in the areas, but I'm kind of like hesitant.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man.
Yeah.
That's I'd be really
like,
careful.
I want to go with a few people.
Just, it makes you think that they must be spending time in those caves then, if that's about the best cover around there, right? And that's
right, yeah.
That's a real common belief in many people have, is that these beings do go subterranean for periods, and may even have whole networks of extinct lava tubes that they can access to traverse big areas.
That's exactly what me and my brother were talking about. How that cave could probably like go out and branch out to other parts underground, like going to so many huge areas around the city, because San Antonio is known to be like a huge military city, and I'm for sure there's underground bases, all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah,
underground going on here, of course.
Yeah. There's probably a lot more things. Rolling through those woods, actually. Whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
Whatever it is
Most
with military bases really seem to attract a lot of the strange in the world. I mean, there always seems to be a lot of weirdness around military bases.
Oh yeah, definitely, most definitely.
Wow, that's pretty wild. So you never saw prints or any tree breaks or anything when you're looking back there?
I haven't seen anything like that. Mostly the times I've seen stuff like the caves and stuff is like when I'm traversing to work or just walking around the area.
Oh.
Like I haven't been able to like walk in it because it's usually during the daytime. You know what I mean?
Right. Sure.
I don't want to just randomly explore and be stuck by myself if something happens.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, it's better to be careful for sure, but that's incredible, and that's right in your area, huh?
Yeah, right where I work, literally right down the street.
Man, I saw that video a long time ago, and I know exactly the one you're talking about. Those people are all like, hey.
Yeah, I saw it recently. My brother, who's in the chat right now, DJ Big Red, he showed it to me, and I watched it, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I told him about the cave, and he was like, man, we got to go explore that. And I was like, I don't know, we need a few people probably before we do that.
bring some bear spray or something too. I don't know if that stuff works or not on Bigfoot, but
yeah. Definitely. There's all kinds of animals in that area for sure.
Right. Yeah, be careful, brother. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And if you do get back down in there, take some pictures and send them to us, will you?
I'm definitely planning on it.
Okay.
Like pretty soon for sure.
All right, man. I'd love to
At
see
least
it.
going down, not too far, but at least a little bit down.
Yeah, I mean, be careful, of course, but just to see the lay of that land, and if you can get a shot of that cave that you're talking about, that'd be really cool to check out. But look for prints around that cave entrance. Just see if you find any prints or anything.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Good to call in again.
Yeah, it's
Always good to hear from you. I love the shows always.
well, we love you too, man. Thank you all for listening to us, and thanks so much, guys, for calling in and being a part of the show.
Of course, Brent. You guys have a good night, fellas.
All right. We'll talk to you
have
soon.
a good one.
Take care.
Thanks.
That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I think it's great when people want to go check this stuff out, but yeah, you got to be careful, ladies and gentlemen. Always be be extra careful, especially with pretty much anything paranormal. But when you're talking about Sasquatch, you're talking about something that is so far out of our class physically and in terms of strength, agility, speed, everything. So definitely be careful. Now, obviously, they don't go out of their way to hurt us, because if they did, there wouldn't be people coming out of the woods ever.
Right.
But, just be careful. That's the thing. But that's pretty cool that they're right in that same area. Are you familiar with that video, Don?
I'm not.
Okay.
No.
So the setup for the video is basically these homeless people have a tent back in the woods, and they end up calling 911 because they saw this big, huge creature guy carrying a deer through the woods, and they were like, no, this is really weird, and they weren't sure what they were seeing, but they knew that they didn't want to deal with it, so they called the police. But yeah, it's pretty wild, very wild stuff. So
that would be crazy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, missing 411 Dwarf says, and you're right.
Yep.
That's probably where a lot of those missings go on, is the missing 411. But very crazy stuff, man. Very crazy stuff. And let's continue onward. But did I read this one? No, I didn't. This one is coming out of Louisiana. Louisiana, Lady Death's land. It says, well, it was a hot day in Louisiana. Me and my mom went to get our hair cut at the beauty shop in our little town. And we was coming back home when all of a sudden this black lady had pulled out in front of me. It says this black lady had pulled out in front of me. Okay. I want to make sure I didn't misread that, because that sounds odd. But anyway, I had to slam on my brakes. I had the right of way, and she didn't stop for the stop sign, but I couldn't move the car. I put my foot on the accelerator, and it wouldn't go. My mom says it's in reverse. Oh my, I couldn't understand how that happened. I told my mom I didn't put it in reverse, and neither did she. I believe in angels, because my angel put my mom's car in reverse that day.
Oh, yeah.
And we were shook up. But praise God, me and my mom were all right. Ain't God awesome? And the angels? I sure do think that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think that intervention like that is really powerful.
Yeah, no doubt.
Very powerful. Wow. All right. Let's see what's next. Which one was that? Okay. No, I'm on this one. I just got to keep track of where
I like how you have a whole nother window open that you're reading, and you're not opening all these 15 million tabs. And
well, you saw it. Like before, I had to put it in its own window because the font on this page is just like 6-point font. It's just micro font, so I had to put it in a different window just to blow it all up to like 300%. It's almost needing a magnifying glass without that blow up feature. Hold on, I got a cough. There we go. I go better. Now, these are mostly really short, ladies and gentlemen, so they're not really extensive, but this one says, my sister was little, and she was looking over her carriage and fell out fast and was about to hit the cement ground, but when she got close to the ground, she went from falling face down to lightly landing on her back. This is a true story. And that's the whole story. That's it. So is it possible that an angel caught her as she was falling and just gently put her down? I don't know, but I imagine a baby falling right on their face on concrete.
Yeah.
That would have to be devastating to that little body. So
I was in the store one day, and the parents had, you know, the baby in the seat, you know, in the shopping cart. And I just watched that kid. She got up and she was just getting ready to stand up in that shopping cart. And the dad reaches over and grabs her.
Oh.
And I can just, you know, nothing happened. Everything was
Right.
fine. But I can just imagine in my head the screaming of that child when she hit the floor. It was just crazy.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't have to witness that.
Drove
then.
me nuts. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Whew. But I've had that image.
Oh, that's
disturbing.
horrible. Yeah, in this story, I like that. I mean, I
Yeah.
like that it was for whatever. I mean, it could be just, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be angels that do these things, but we just kind of recognize these acts as, you know, everybody thinks that they have a guardian angel. And
Right.
maybe everybody does. I don't know. It seems like some people's guardian angels are a lot less effective than others, but you know, in cases like this, could that have been a guardian angel? Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Could it have been something else? I suppose it could.
And sometimes I guess some of these stories are just kind of, they're not sensational,
Right.
you know, and that's another thing about them is some of them are just not sensational. They're just something that happens and you're like, did that really happen? You know, it wasn't like, you know, a grand car accident and, you know, this kind of thing. And,
Right.
you know, it's just these simple little things that you take for granted or just things that you think are just luck, you know, sometimes it just seems that way.
So, you know, remember the story I share every once in a while, Don, about that whether it's a time slip or dimensional shift where my son and I are driving in the blizzard,
Right.
and we end up skipping that whole area that was that was going to be really treacherous. Now, it seems to me that the term angel gets used as kind of a cover-all definition for something paranormally good happening. So in this case, you know, I being a fan and enthusiast about the paranormal, I have a much broader vocabulary for these things as far as what it could be. So I think it's, you know, a dimensional shift, a time slip, something that occurred there at the time when I needed it to. Now, I do think in a sense it was a divine intervention of some kind.
Right.
But it never occurred to me that it could be an angel that shifted us forward.
Yeah.
Like and that's not my desire not to acknowledge the good. Of course, I think that if that's the case, that's wonderful.
Right.
But I think that's, you know, if a ghost does a benevolent act, then people think, oh, it's an angel.
Right.
If you know, if somebody does a benevolent act for somebody, you act as an angel. So it becomes this term that just means a wonderfully positive act. A lot of them are very supernatural, of course, but it just occurs to me that, you know, a lot of people attribute good things happening in a paranormal manner as angel.
Right.
And it may or may not actually be an angelic being. I mean, we just don't know, but I guess it's kind of semantics, really. It doesn't probably matter that much, but it just occurred to me. So I have a microphone and you all get to hear it. So I got another one. You ready for this one, Don?
Sure, yeah.
I was in Hawaii at a church work day in 2001, and I was cutting weeds with a machete, and it was not very familiar. I was not very familiar with using a machete, and I was in a wooded area between the parking lot and the playground working when I swung the machete, the machete chest level at some weeds, and the machete slipped out of my hand and flew in a circular spin towards two little boys playing in the playground. Oh, God. I was horrified and cried out, God, you have to stop it. Then the machete went out of my view because the overhanging branches. I waited for the scream of a boy being hit, but it never came. I waited a few seconds to get a grip, and I finally walked over where the boys were playing, but I couldn't find the machete. I turned around to trace the flight it would have taken and spied the machete laying carefully perpendicular to the line of playground cut grass into the wooded area where I had been working. There is no way it could have landed that way naturally. It was as it was spinning, and it was arcing up and would have arced down at least 6 feet from where I found it.
Wow.
I am sure an angel caught it or knocked it down and placed it neatly by the side of the play area. I am so glad God keeps an eye on us and saves us from our worst moments. Well, that's a beautiful moment.
Yeah, that would be the alternative would have been a horrible moment. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the case, isn't it? Just
Yeah.
a moment is all it takes for something just to
Yeah.
change the course of an entire life,
Right.
or many lives for that matter.
Well, that's like the story about the 15-year-old son who got shot and flown to Seattle. It's like, it's either it's horrible like that, or it's like this, where it turned out so different than what you expected.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm sure glad that no child was hurt.
Yeah.
That's just a nightmare. Wow.
Yep.
All right. So let's go to this one. This one allegedly takes place in Vietnam. One night on guard duty, I was about to go to my tower to guard our compound in Pleiku, Vietnam. As I reached the door, mortar rounds were hitting our compound from every direction. The AOD, Administrative Officer of the Day, ordered all of us to our towers, and as I walked under a building, a mortar round went off above my head.
Ew.
All I remember is a crushing force hitting me and pushing me to the ground. In what seems like a second, a white light covered me, and I found myself under a bed of the guard quarters. The only way for me to get to those 100 yards or so was my guardian angel took me from a point of death to a point of life. I live today to tell everyone how wonderful God is. Wow, so they were actually shelled,
Yeah.
knocked to the ground, a white flash happens, the next thing they know they're under a bed in the quarters. Wow.
Yep.
That's pretty freaking powerful. That's incredibly epic. Man. That was a man that was not supposed to go that day.
Not that day.
Oof. All right. How about another one? This one comes from Saigon. When I was in the 5th grade, my father was stationed in Saigon, Vietnam during the war. My little sister and I often went to sleep with my mother in her bed watching television, and one night I woke up for an unknown reason and saw a lady in white hovering above us. She didn't scare me, but I felt like something could be wrong, and she was there to comfort us. The next morning I woke up and my mother was listening to the news of Saigon being under massive attack, later called the Tet Offensive, and it was the Vietnamese New Year, and I told her about my vision, and she was scared that it was an angel comforting us because my father had been killed, and she started crying. I didn't feel that way at all and told her so. It turned out my father had been under attack, but he was okay. In fact, he received a Bronze Star for his bravery that day.
Wow.
I now believe that the angel was my guardian angel and was sent to let us know my father was being protected, just as we were.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
Dead Spider says my dad was stationed in Plekow too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I hope it turned out okay for him. Dead Spider. Wow. That's that must have been a mess over there.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, by the grace of God, the only thing I've ever seen is the movies
Right.
about what people experienced. But
Right.
and I hope and pray that I never see that kind of ugliness. But man, my heart goes out to people that have to live that, or people that are in the service now over abroad and dealing with ugly situations. Ugh. It takes a whole different cut of person, I'm telling you. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one.
Next one.
I hope you guys are enjoying these. I think that they're really cool and positive, and it just kind of brings a new light of positivity to the paranormal. And I like the spooky stuff, just like everybody. But I think once in a while, we just got to lift the vibe. It gets a little heavy, you know?
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So here's one. It says, my son and I were on our way home one day, and we're on a busy road leading out of town, and we were about the 10th car in a fairly long line of traffic, and all of a sudden, a car that had been waiting to get out of a side road pulled out directly in front of us. Oh, my God. I slammed on the brakes, but then heard a voice say, "You can't stop." Just like something was guiding me, I floored my car, swung into the left lane with my tires absolutely screaming, and got around her car. My son said he looked out the window and bets we didn't miss being hit by about 2 inches. To this day, I remember the feeling of calm certainty that came over me that we were not going to be hit. No one will ever convince me that we didn't have an angel helping us this day. One who may have helped my son at a later time. He was driving a small car and was hit by a semi that ran through a red light. The police estimated the truck was going 65 miles per hour. My son said that he saw the truck. He somehow knew that he had better floor his car. The truck hit just behind the passenger door and made the car spin with such force it threw a baseball bat from the trunk 100 feet down the road. After spinning a few times in the road, the car went onto the side of the road, and people were amazed to find my son not only alive, but with only minor injuries. Wow. So minor, in fact, that because he was taking an EMT class at college, he made them explain everything that they did to him on the way to the hospital. I talked to the paramedics, and they told me that they had no doubt they had a dead body to deal with when they saw the car. And they both said that we had better thank guardian angels, and believe me, we did.
Yeah, I bet.
Wow.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I mean, just that voice that comes through like, floor it, go, you know?
Don't stop.
Have you ever been in one of those situations, though, Don, where you were just facing, like, what could be major harm and time really slows down?
You know, I have to say, not really. I mean, I've never really, knock on wood, never really been in a...
Come in.
Not those ones. They got black eyes. I've never really been in a car accident. I spun out on the freeway one time because of ice, but that was just me spun out. I got a little whiplash. I was all right. You know, so no, I've never really, I rear-ended a car in Spokane once. It punctured my radiator and I had to replace my entire front nose cone on my Jeep, but never really had an accident.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, not necessarily the car. I'm just talking about any, you know how time slows down when you're in that moment.
Actually, now that I think about it, I was driving home. I was working in Spokane Valley, now that you mention it, and working in Spokane Valley, and I call this kind of my Matrix moment. I was driving home to Coeur d'Alene, which is about 40 miles. We'll say 40 miles. And it's just straight down the freeway. I mean, I jump on the freeway, I jump off the freeway, I'm at home and I'm at work. So, but it's like a 40-minute drive, and it's snow on the ground. I'm driving a rear-wheel drive S10, you know, a real light little pickup. It was, you know, and all of a sudden I saw out of the corner of my left eye, this BMW just passed me. And we're going kind of up a hill, and I just saw the back end of the BMW break. It just broke open and just beep, 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 right around looking. And the driver was looking right at me the entire time. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I'm waving. And so, you know, it was like just one of those. I waved at him. I'm like, how you doing?
How's that working out?
He's lucky he didn't get the finger. But it was like, and I just, and it was just incredible because, yeah, it's slowed down. It's beep, 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 like a Bionic Man, you know.
Oh, there you go.
I'm like, oh, boy.
Well, that's what I'm kind of picturing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had that experience where, you know, I was actually sledding and missed a turn, and I went over this cliff.
Oh, boy.
And I'm looking down, and there's all these big boulders, and I'm like, oh, no, this is going to hurt.
This is going to suck.
And it was like I was falling in slow motion, and I looked down as I'm falling, and I saw this really good sized sapling that for some reason had gotten knocked over.
Right.
And it was sitting there near the edge of the cliff wall. And I thought, if I can land my feet on that, I'll be okay.
Right.
And I did. You know, it was my Matrix moment. It was like, donk. And I was just there. And so I was able to climb back out from this ravine, but it was absolutely one of those things. It was like, I'm going over. I'm like, you know, it was a cartoon moment. And then just going over, and it was like everything kind of really, really got slow. And I saw that tree down the edge of the cliff.
Right.
And I was able to land both of my feet on it and then press my back against the wall.
Right.
But, oh, geez.
Okay, so hold on to that call real quick. We got a call on the board, but I want to read what William just said. William just said that whole time slows down thing. Yeah, I don't enjoy that. It never happens when something awesome is happening, only when you're contemplating how bad something's going to hurt.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Amen. So let's get to our phone call here and see who's on the line. It's area code 423. You're on the show.
Hey, you guys. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing? Who are we talking to?
Good. This is Duck Sauce.
Oh,
Doc
hey,
Sauce,
how you
brother,
doing?
how you doing?
Hey, how are you doing? Yeah, excellent.
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Rough day yesterday with the disability hearing,
Right.
but everything went great. But that's
Right.
not the reason I'm calling
Good.
in.
Okay.
It has to do with the subject matter.
Okay.
I unfortunately I was in a private message staying at the moment you were speaking, Brent, but you had asked a question just moments ago, and it triggered a few memories for me, and a couple of two short stories, real life experiences. But I think it has to do with what y'all are talking about here.
Okay, by all means.
All right. So the first one about both of these events happened probably 20 years ago, give or take. The first one, I was working at a glass factory in Tampa, and it was a place where they cut glass and a warehouse, and we shipped glass and all of these kind of things. Now, I was on the crew where we loaded glass onto the trucks to be sent out. And, we're talking all kinds of different glass, painted glass. But in the middle of the trucks, let's see, have you ever seen those trucks that ship glass? How they have those kind of ramps on the two sides where the glass gets strapped down.
Yep.
But in the middle, it's sort of a flatbed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I was on this flatbed where I'm not normally at, but I was there for some reason. I don't remember. I had to collect some scraps or something like that. The flatbed was in horrible condition. It's made out of planks of this long wood, and in different places, the planks were missing. And it's not something that I normally do, and so I'm not accustomed to being up there.
Right.
I had retrieved whatever object I was going out there to get, and I was walking backwards. I don't remember for what reason, but I was back towards the end of the truck, but not near the end. I was close to the end, but not at the end of the truck.
Okay.
And the back of my ankle stepped into one of these holes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I lost my balance. I fell backwards, and I reached out. There's nothing around me. There was a support bar, but I swear I got the tip of my ring finger touched the support. In no way was it enough to stop my momentum.
Okay.
It isn't possible. I should have fell. I should have fell off the back of that truck that was probably, this was a 18-wheeler. This is I don't know how high those trucks are, with like 4 or 5 feet off the ground, probably, maybe
Right.
with everything involved, maybe 5.5 feet. I should have fell off the back of the truck. I should have landed on my head. That's what should have happened.
Okay.
But got my balance. Took a moment. I was okay.
Wow.
Collected myself. I climbed back down off the truck. Here's where it gets interesting. Somebody witnessed it. Somebody saw this event happen. And as I was walking away from the truck, he was staring at me. And this guy had turned white. He was pale. He was white. His jaw was dropped. And all he kept saying was, "I saw you fall.
Ew.
Wow.
I saw you fall." And it was just a moment in time. I don't know what you can make of that. Time slip,
Right.
angelic intervention. I don't know.
Was
But
it-
there's one story.
Right.
The second story. I was walking along a road in Tampa again, and I don't remember the road, but it probably doesn't matter. On one side of the road, it's highly industrial, factories, warehouses, and all of these things. On the other side of the road, it was residential, houses, park, whatever, residential on one side, highly industrial on the other. Now, this road that I'm talking about, it's just I would call it a 2-lane road, one lane coming this way, the other lane going that way.
Okay.
So I'm walking along, and walking was pretty common in Tampa. Pretty much everywhere you want to get is close by. So I'm walking, but I'm a fair distance off the road. I might be, 5 or so feet, because there's parking lots and whatnot, and not far, but I'm maybe 5 feet off the road, something like that. I'm walking along, and I'm approaching what would be, I guess you'd call it a 3-way intersection, where, there's the straight ahead forward road, but then there's a side road that leads off to this residential area that I'm talking about.
Okay.
There was a small car, that was waiting to make a left-hand turn, which means it would have to cross the oncoming road to go off to the left. I'm walking along. I acknowledge the car. I'm walking. And then out of nowhere, this massive 18-wheeler locks up its tires because he was cruising along and sees this car had stopped in front of him to make this left-hand turn. So he locked it up. Oh. And this doesn't make sense. I've played it back in my mind many times. It doesn't make sense to me. There should not have been enough room between this car, myself. There shouldn't have been enough room for this tractor trailer to slide right between us.
Wow.
When he finally came to a rest, I think, I don't know, I think I time jumped. It was a weird moment. But when he came to a rest, I put my left arm out. I was touching the back of his trailer.
Ooh,
he was that close to me. He missed the car. He missed me. It was the most bizarre thing.
Yeah.
So once again, I don't know what to make of that, but there it is. It could be angelic, it could be time slip, it could be some kind of weird. But yeah, whatever you said before my phone call, it prompted me, and I was like, wow, I've got a couple of mind-blowing stories.
That's awesome.
Those are fantastic.
Yes.
And it does sound like you might have dimensionally shift when you were falling, that one where you're falling. Because apparently the other guy saw it ending different.
Yeah.
And somehow, yeah, that's pretty intense. That's incredibly intense.
This guy, not to be racial, but he was a black feller.
Mm-hmm.
He had turned white. He was that pale, and his jaw was, and he couldn't even look at me. He looked at the spot where it happened, and he just kept muttering, "I saw you fall."
Yeah.
Wow. It would be interesting to know what exactly he saw.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a witness to the whole thing. When you're in it, it's hard to see. I mean, you can only see the moment of your experience, but somebody else on the outside wonder what he saw that changed.
I don't know. And he was in no condition to explain it.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'll bet not.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really intense though, man. Thanks so much for calling in and sharing both of
yeah,
those.
Man.
That's really powerful. And for what it's worth, I'm glad it worked out both times, man. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, amazing experiences in life. Life is a never-ending source of amazing experiences.
True enough.
Right. Sometimes terribly amazing and sometimes amazingly terrible.
Oh, that's good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Love you guys. I'll let you get back to it. And just wanted to share those couple quick little stories there.
Excellent.
All right. Love you too, man. Take care, and thanks for being a part of the show.
Absolutely. Wow.
Right on. All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it'd be interesting to have a description of what that guy saw as he was falling. It's
right.
like, did he like fall and like land on his side? Did he like fall and bang his head?
Or did he see him falling and suddenly he was right up again?
Yeah.
What exactly did this guy observe? That's what's very, very intriguing. I would love to know what that guy experienced, because whatever it was shook him up serious.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
If he was in no way able to talk about it. Yeah, he's shook. Yeah, definitely that.
He saw something he weren't ready to see. All right.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is really cool though. I mean, it's really neat that people have these experiences, because I think that they just teach us something really profound.
Right.
That, everything's much more relative and pliable than we think. It's just something happens in those key moments that shifts the gears. And I think it's possible that we could get to the point somehow that we could do things like that at will.
Right.
But I don't know where the keys are, but I keep looking. I keep examining these things over and over, going, what's going on in those moments where reality changes, reality folds on itself, and then a new outcome is achieved. I don't know. But if you figure out that, I think you might just have the keys to the universe.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think you might. But anyway, very cool.
Or maybe figured out the programming for the Matrix.
Right, yeah. You can be the programmer, Don.
You're a hacker.
We can be the hackers of the Matrix, for sure. Let's get to the next one. It says, one of my friends was on a bridge by the fair we have every year in June, and she saw a fish and wanted to see it, so she looked down and ended up almost falling off the bridge, but then something grabbed her and pulled her back up. But there was no one on the bridge with her. From this day, she says, I was saved by an angel from the heavens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe you were saved by a spirit that took pity on you too. But it acted angelically.
So was it off a cliff? Where?
A bridge.
A bridge, okay.
She was on a bridge overlooking the water and then saw a fish. She was leaning over and started to fall, and something grabbed her and pulled her back up.
You know, in stories like that, I wonder if it's like maybe the spirit of somebody who committed suicide and regretted it so much that is there maybe doing a penance, or, you know, by decision, I want to be here in case something like that happens,
right?
You know, that I can help and maybe, you know, help heal myself through that action.
Right.
You know, that's an interesting thing.
It is. Like,
you know,
maybe that act was the closure it needed to move on.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, and that's Duck Sauce says something else when he was talking about that, when he was talking about falling off that glass truck, was he said there was just a little pressure on his pinky finger.
Right. Like,
and it was able to break his fall. You know, so when he said that originally, I thought of the Michelangelo on the Sistine Chapel of God reaching out with just one finger, and
right.
You know, they touch. I was thinking, you know, an angel touched his finger, you know, or something, you know. This is just the imagery that went through my head.
Sure.
And it was like, boop, stop. Okay, cool. I'm good.
Yeah, reset.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the reset button,
There
Doug.
you go. Yeah,
he was able to click.
Finger?
He was able to click the reset button.
It's not working. Oh, that's just my luck.
Or is it? Or is it? Maybe it is working.
Maybe. We just split the timeline. Watch out.
Right. Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. Watch for any glitches in the Matrix. These are all angelic events tonight, though. Let's see what's next here. Continuing on. Ooh, this one's wordy.
Okay.
This one's got a bit of a story.
One. Yeah, great.
Okay. Let me
deep breath.
Let me warm up for this one.
No.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm ready. It's always best to start at the beginning, so I'll start with my baptism. Wow.
Wow, that's going back.
Wow. So the tunnel was dark, and then I saw the light. It was the day of my birth.
Oh, my goodness.
Sorry, it's important to preface your stories. All right. So I'll start with my baptism. I was 7 when I was baptized into the Roman Catholic faith. And I remember I was really excited because I was finally dressed in big girl clothes, meaning I was wearing knee socks instead of bobby socks, and I thought my light green dress very grown up. And as we were getting ready, I asked my mom where she, myself, and my aunt were all going. She said, we're going to the church so I could get baptized. I asked her then what she meant, and she said it meant Jesus would come and live forever in my heart. She then asked me if I wanted him to come and live in my heart. Well, I very enthusiastically told her yes. When we arrived at the church, I was really disappointed. My aunt picked me up and carried me like a baby down the aisle to a very old priest who poured water over my head. I was upset because I was certain everyone could see my underpants. Once we came back to the house, my mom sent me outside in my winter coat to play without even having me change clothes. I went out alone, and it was as if everything had gone from black and white to Technicolor in just an instant. I had a brand new relationship with the Trinity, and remember looking at the ground and seeing where all the grass was growing up green, and through the snow patches, and feeling exuberant and joyful to see it. I recognized the joy of the Spirit in me. And I also recalled looking at the side of our house and touching the bits of glass in the stucco. I stopped and marveled at how beautiful the human hand is, and I was thanking God for all his glory, remember, I'm 7 at this time, okay? Then I stopped as I heard the Father tell me that everything I was looking at was already disappearing. Someday, everything would be gone, completely destroyed, and I asked, even my mom? And he said, yes. But I wasn't afraid because he said he never would end. And he said that it will be a long time before these things happen. Then he said, remember what he had told me. For years I went around trying to remember the things that I liked, the things in our house, my mom's face. The sun told me that he was the road and the bridge to heaven, but over the years, I slowly forgot what they told me. I didn't remember until I was about 22 or 23. or so I was going through a really terrible breakup with a young man who I was certain was the one. Silly girl. That's what it says in parentheses. Not me. It says it in parentheses. I couldn't shake the feeling that this just wasn't just another relationship that needed to end, but instead that he was the one, and this relationship was supposed to be a blessing from God. To make a long story short, I went back to the Trinity and the Blessed Mother for help. This is very religious, but I can only read the stories that are here. After praying day and night for over a year, I still believed he was the one and that something terrible was happening as he drifted further and further away. I couldn't understand how I could be so wrong, and then I decided to ask God for a sign. So I went out on the balcony and was praying a rosary, and then a voice very clearly and authoritatively said, "Move your legs." I obeyed, and immediately, and even as I was moving my legs off the wall of the balcony, where I had propped them, a scorpion came scampering down the wall right behind me. I grabbed a can of bug killer and sprayed it until it dropped and put a jar over it, and I knew my angel had saved me from a very nasty sting. Later that night, I tried praying again, asking for a sign to let me know if my discernment was right, prayed the rosary, and fell asleep on the couch. I was awakened from a very deep sleep and felt something very powerful and very spiritual there, and as I opened my eyes, I saw a red light streaming around me. I asked, "Is that you, Lord?" And then the light became very ugly to me, and it was swallowed up by a blue light that was cool and very soothing as opposed to the hot, violent red light. Once the lights were gone, I was exhausted and fell back to sleep. Still unable to discern what I should do about the relationship, I continued praying the rosary every day, and sometimes more than one, and to fast, attend Holy Mass. You okay?
Yeah.
Take Eucharist and go to confession. And one night after finishing praying a rosary, I asked, "May I please now know?" In the instant I prayed that question, I felt the Holy Mother leave my side, where she had been praying with me, though I hadn't been aware of her until just then, and go to the Father's throne and say, "Carmen wants to know if she can please know now." The Father said, "No." Wow, that was authoritarian. And she came back to me. She knew I had been present in spirit. It wasn't the answer I wanted, and there was no elaboration. It's been 20 years since those things happened, but I remember them very clearly, and I'm still grateful for those blessings that keep my faith strong. By the way, the relationship continued over a couple more years to get weaker and weaker until he finally drifted away completely. I married and divorced twice, never again feeling like I did about that boy or that relationship. Never felt any relationship was something holy, a treasured gift from God. However, I do have 2 children I know are treasured gifts from God, and as is my faith in the Holy Trinity and the intercession of the Blessed Mother. This is like Catholicism 101. I've been blessed with many other happenings, but I think these are enough for now. Thanks for letting me share. Well, I don't know. That was a lot of words, but apparently she felt very close to the spirit or whatever, but I didn't really catch anything about angels in there, did you?
Well, the only thing I caught was the scorpion part,
Oh, right.
But then again, so supposedly something tells her to move her legs, and the scorpion skitters by, and then she goes and kills it.
It had to die, Don.
You see the incongruity there? It's like, "Hey, you're gonna die."
Yeah.
Smash. So shout out to MCAT. He said, sorry for being late, but he spent most of the night in the ER.
Oh, shoot. You okay?
He's okay.
Oh.
Well, I thought he was going to tell and then life slowed down in front of me story. But no, he's doing all right.
Okay.
He had a kidney stone apparently.
Oh.
I can't imagine that because it's never happened, but I've heard that they're pretty bad. So, well, our thoughts are with you.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how those things pass, but I can't imagine it's a lot of fun.
Being a truck driver, I thought, oh no, something happened while he was driving.
Right.
No,
yeah.
No, that wasn't it. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Well, good. And welcome to the show. You can be late anytime.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, you guys don't need to apologize for being late. I get that all the time, and it's sweet. I love that, you guys want to be here and all that, but you sure don't have to apologize. It's just great that you guys check it out when you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're here for you.
Absolutely. That's the very truth. Yeah.
Because you're family.
Yep. We're just dishing up a whole plate full of paranormal fun right here at the family table.
Oh, man. Mayhem still fits that description.
Yeah, it does.
Wow. Okay. So there you go. Sorry about that.
No worries at all. I'm not a very religious person, yet in a Paris street after Bastille Day around 1998, I was crossing a side road parallel to the Rue de Rivoli. I don't know how to say that.
The road
right.
of ravioli?
Ravioli, yeah. To shop at a supermarché. I don't know what a supermarket. On the opposite side. As I did so, I tried to avoid a puddle by stepping over it and didn't see a very large, very fast, and silent bus bearing down on me from behind, and the driver, intent on speaking into his mobile phone, was ignoring the road in front of him.
Ooh.
But what I did see in front of me was a beautiful and very real to me black lady with the most compassionate look, who came forward into my path and who then went behind me as she passed, said, "Oh, monsieur." I touched her arm, so thin and so real, and I thought, yet when I looked back where she should have been, right in front of the bus, she wasn't there. And I was on the pavement in front of the supermarché. I can't comprehend what happened or why it happened, except to say that I'm humbled and grateful.
Wow.
Very interesting. Yeah. I don't know.
That's crazy. So this person was crossing the street, went to step over a big mud puddle, and was being bared down on by a bus that the driver was looking at his phone.
Like he was texting or something, right?
Wow.
And this is 1998, though. What kind of, was there texting back then? Yeah, there was, right?
Well, there was texting, SMS. There wasn't like Facebooking and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, there was texting.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, and that's that's a perfect example of why he shouldn't be looking at your phone. But it's interesting. The lady came by and touched her elbow, and or this person's elbow, and was on the other side of the street, and no sign of the lady. Wow.
Yep.
That's incredible.
It is very incredible. So here's one that sounds like it might be like Duck Sauce's story. In May 22nd of this year, I tripped over my dog that decided to sit down on the second stair from the top.
Yep, I know that.
I slipped down 7 stairs, stood up, but felt myself fall forward suddenly. Someone pushed me back up at the same time I was falling. I also felt big, strong hands pulling me back up. And when I went downstairs, I thanked my child with a kiss cuddle, and he asked why I did this, and I said, "Thank you for stopping Mommy from falling any further." His response shocked me. "Mommy," he replies, "it wasn't me." I said, "But I felt someone pull me up. Someone pushed me back up." His only response was, he saw something rush past him while he was on the stair landing. So was it angels who stopped me falling? If so, I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Many thanks.
That's interesting.
So the kids felt something rush by them,
right,
but didn't see anything.
Huh.
There you go. Wow. So maybe that's what happened to Duck Sauce, right?
Maybe that the guy that saw him fall. I wonder if he saw him fall but couldn't articulate that he saw something else.
Saw someone lending assistance, perhaps.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to know. It's hard to know, ladies
Speculation,
and gentlemen. All we can do is speculate this stuff. This is the world of the paranormal.
Duke says, do your part to help preserve Brent's voice. Call in 720-923-0500.
What's wrong with my voice? Is it getting weak? Or
No, it's just
trying to get participation.
Okay,
I just want to make sure I don't sound like...
Well, no, I mean, because you've been talking a lot.
Yeah. Well, I like talking, though. Nobody ever listens to me except here. Brent loves when people call in. I do.
What'd you say?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, look at that. There's an MCAT call right there.
Ah, there you go.
As if on cue. Welcome to the show, Mr. MCAT. Good to hear from you.
Hey, what's going on, boys?
Hey, fella. What's happening? You all good, right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just, it's not as bad as it was I wasn't feeling good yesterday,
Right.
and so I took the day off. And so this morning, I had the student driving, and boy, was it hurting on the right side. So I went till about 7 o'clock is when we got done with this, and then I was like, I'm going to the ER.
Oh, wow.
So I go to the ER, and they ran a bunch of tests and drew blood and all that, and they were like, yeah, it's probably just a kidney stone.
Ah.
And it was like, well, get this stuff off of me so I can get out of here.
Well, Cha-Cha says, MCAT, rub some dirt on it. It'll be fine.
Yeah. No. That's the problem. Living dirt is the problem right now. No. So anyway, got out of the ER and went to Steak and Shake and celebrated with a big fat shake.
Nice.
That's the way to roll. Absolutely. So where are you at now? You're back home? Is that what's going on? Or are you on the road somewhere?
No, I'm in Kentucky. I'm on the road somewhere. So I'm in Kentucky.
Well, they have good...
London, and then I'll be should be home on Friday for the weekend.
They have good ERs there? Everything...
Well, and you know what? I was pretty happy with the service. I didn't have a problem.
Okay, good.
No, I don't have insurance, so they were just like, so do you have insurance? And I was like, no, I'm self-paying. And they're like, oh, well, how are we going to... I said, here, I'll give you $100 cash, and that'll get things going. You just bill me the rest.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, that's good, brother. I'm glad you got the help you needed. And now it's obviously not done, right? If you got a stone, does it have to pass? Is that what goes on? Or how does this work?
Yeah, well, there's only one way for it to go. It's going to end up in the bladder, and then it just goes out naturally that way. So it's still, yeah.
Oh,
it's
dear God.
It doesn't really hurt right now, but if I laugh or if I sneeze, sneezing was the worst. I sneezed on the way here, and I was like, oh, my God. Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry, brother. For what it's worth, I'm really sorry, but I hope that it passes like a thief in the night. I don't even know.
Without the without the shattering glass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, without the shattering glass. That's right.
Oh, goodness. We don't mean to laugh at your plight, but you're such a good guy about it.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Man.
No, it's cool, man.
All right.
I'm pretty tough. This is all right.
All right, brother. Well, here's to getting better. Keep getting better, and take care of yourself, and we'll be here talking to you, brother.
Yep.
Oh, I wanted to, I got some because my birthday's coming up on Sunday.
Oh.
Ooh.
I ordered myself a gift.
Wow.
It was like, well, gee, Mike, what would you like for a present for your birthday? Gee, I don't know. So I ordered a Zoom H4. Oh,
No
what a good
way.
idea. Why don't you get a discount too? Wow, thank you. You're so cute.
How much did you pay for that Zoom?
Yeah. How much was it?
Huh?
How much was it?
It was like $210.
Wow.
Good for you, man. That's supposed to be the cream of the crop. That's
I keep looking at that H6 going, God, I need just $700. I need $700.
Now, how many channels is an H6?
It's a 6.
Is it more channels?
Yeah.
It's 6 channels?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
why do you need 6
Yeah,
channels?
you could hook that up on your drum kit. My God.
Yeah, you really could. Yeah.
Well, if I only use one hand, I'd only have to use half of it.
you could.
I've done one-handed drumming before when you drop a stick in the middle of a set. Hang on. I'm there. Give me a second.
Just go heavy bass for a couple thumps. Boom, boom.
You know what he's referring. You know what he's referring to, don't you, Brent?
Playing drums, right?
Well, yeah. But one day I said that in the chat. I said I was sitting in my set banging out a Black Sabbath tune. And all of a sudden, I dropped my stick, so I had to switch to Def Leppard.
It happens.
Oh,
That's why you got that bag of sticks right there nearby. You just grab one and go.
there you go. Only in the portal, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, man. Anyhow.
We have such an eclectic group here.
Oh,
Gotta
my.
love it.
Yeah. Wow.
That's awesome. Don't laugh. Don't laugh.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying not to, man. Oh,
Oh yeah. Huh? I just thought
man.
about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you know how that works
Yeah.
out if I can get out of the house on Sunday. It should be there by the time I get there, so we'll see how it works out, and
Yeah.
it's going to work out the way I'm thinking it will.
Well,
Yeah.
very
But I'll
cool.
let you know.
Yeah.
All right,
absolutely.
brother. We'll be waiting for the EVPs, man. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
Absolutely.
Yep, you betcha. You guys have a good night. I'll talk to you later.
All right, good night, now.
bud. Wow. Yeah. At
All right, man.
H4.
Bye.
Yeah. An H4. Yeah. And I was looking at that H6. Yeah. And you know, I need to stop reaching for the stars when when my pocketbook says I can only reach to the bottom drawer,
Yeah,
you know.
I think you should
like,
just
dang
stick
it.
with the lighter model. A
I
2-channel is plenty.
Well, if you know, even the 4 would be great, but I just looked up an H6. It's $329.99.
Yeah, that's still probably 2 channels you don't need anyway.
No, that's true, but still, you know.
No. All right, we got another call, and this is 313. You're on the air.
Hey, Brent, Bigfoot Michigan Rob, what's going on?
Hey, Rob. Good to hear from you, brother. How's things out in the Michigan?
Hey, good to hear you guys.
Good to hear you. How's things in Michigan?
Busy. I was getting off work, so I run the bar over here, and like I say, I'm trying to catch your show. And I just wanted to check. I was thinking the other day, it's a story I wanted to share with you guys regarding a ghost encounter from a few years back. If you have a few minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Take it away, brother.
So back when I was 16 years old, where I lived when I was a youngster growing up, there was an area called Dead Man's Curve, and the reason that us kids we came up with that because right around my age of 16, there was teenagers that were taking a ride in this area. It was a sloping curve, and it took like a wicked, like not a 90-degree angle, but maybe 65. It was a pretty tough angle.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a young man and a young lady, and they took it too hard. And right there's a creek that drops off, and they hit it. And at the time, the young man got killed, and the young lady, she was decapitated.
Oh, dear.
And this is actually, you can look this story up even. It's pretty, not that it's cool, but it's very interesting. So anyway, that was a story, and this place at the time where I lived was not even 4 to 5 blocks from where I actually resided with my family, my mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
So me and a couple of my buddies, we would always go there. I mean, even after this occurrence, we'd always hang out there as young kids. We'd go in there, smoke cigarettes, and play hooky from school and stuff. So we'd always go there, and we would just try to. Wow, we were always intrigued by what had happened there.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when this incident occurred, they blocked it off, and they put up guardrails and everything else where you just can't drive a vehicle back there anymore because it was actually extremely dangerous. And this is back in the early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So one night we go down there, and we had a little bonfire down by the creek, and we're leaving to go home. And so as we're walking up through the creek, up the road, it started getting very windy and very chilly. And this is like in the summertime, and so on. And all of a sudden, this big wind started whipping around, and we felt the chill going through our bones. And we're like, man, we started like kind of jogging to get out of there. We want to get home. As I said, we didn't live that far from me and my other buddies. We didn't live far from there. We grew up and went to high school together and such. So we had stopped, and we had looked in back, and we were just checking out, make sure our fire was put out, because we said, oh my God, we took out here so fast. We didn't want the wind to spread the fire about the brush down by the creek.
Right.
So we're being responsible kids, but we look, and it's out. And then we see this apparition. Well, now I know it's an apparition, but we didn't know what it was. We thought it was like some sort of fog that was being, perhaps blown about with the wind. We thought maybe it was some debris or maybe some smoke from the fire.
Right.
And this thing was maybe hovering 3 to 4 feet above the trail coming at us. And we're standing there, me, my buddy Brian and Darren, we're looking at this thing, and at this point it's maybe 100 yards away, and we just see this thing kind of moving toward us. So we're standing there looking at it. So it got probably maybe 50 to 40 yards, and we seen it was actually, it appeared to be a human body, but the funny thing was we could make our arms and legs, and it was kind of like a neon blue, but like a sky blue.
Wow.
And we're like, holy cow, what the heck is this?
Mm-hmm.
My buddy Brian goes, it looks like a body or some sort floating this way. And my buddy Darren, he was like, didn't know what the heck it was. And it's getting closer and closer. And then we noticed that it was a figure of a body. Now, we couldn't tell it was male or female. But when we looked toward the shoulder area, there was no head. Mm-hmm. It was like a body, headless. And when we noticed this, we all start running. We ran as fast as we could down up the trail to our respective houses. So as I'm running, something in my head said, it was in a kind of a weird, like, witchy voice, said, don't look back. And it kept telling to them over and over, do not look back. But it was like a girl's voice, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm running, man. I ran all the way home. I jump in, I get home, go through the back door, I run into my bedroom and just run under my covers, and I just go to bed sleeping.
Wow.
The next morning, I call my buddies, Darren and Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, we're on the phone. We're like, this is before even cell phones. I'm like 52, so it was like, it's like in the early 80s, as I was saying. And it was like, oh my God, yeah, let's meet up at let's meet up at my buddy Darren's house. And we went up because we had a little tree fort back in the woods, not by Demas Creek, but down where he lived. So we're all up there, and we had papers, and we had like white paper and pencils and pens, and we said, oh my God, what did you guys? We're talking about what we saw. So I said, hey, let's all draw what we saw. And all three of us drew the same thing that we saw. It was all of us, obviously the pictures were not identical, but the apparition that we saw was pretty close. It was the idea. It was a person without a head.
Wow.
And so I say, hey, did you guys get that weird thing in your head that said don't look back?
Ooh.
And they look at me and say, well, what are you talking about? I said, well, I distinctly heard in my brain. It wasn't like you heard it from. It was in my subconscious or my brain inside my head. It wasn't like you're talking to somebody and hear them face to face. It was inside my head. Wow. And it said, "Don't look back." And I said, "Dude, this thing said don't look back."
Uh-huh.
And then they said, "Oh, you're embellishing now what we saw, trying to scare us." I said, "No, you guys. I thought you guys said the same thing because." When I looked to my right and my left, you guys were straight ahead, and we both darted in our opposite directions to get to our houses.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And
so I'm thinking, wow. I'm like, really? You guys didn't hear that? And they said no. And so that night, that day at the house, I was thinking, man, how the heck did I hear this and these guys didn't? Right. Unless maybe they're too scared, or they just weren't. They didn't want to admit it or what have you. And,
sure.
Well, to this day, me and my buddy Brian, we talk about the subject like all the time. And my friend Darren, to this day, won't even admit it. He won't even admit to the fact that he saw what he saw. In fact, he's never told his wife, his kids, or anything. That's how scared he was. And I'm like, wow. So I was looking back, and as I said, 2 teenagers died down there. It was a girl her head got, lopped off, and her boyfriend or whatever broke his neck or whatever. And to this day, that's kind of crazy because every once in a while, me and my buddy Brian will go back to the old neighborhood and we'll kind of go over there, and it's all overgrown. And if you look through this place, there's also even in the summertime, there's a good like there's like a 60, 70, 80-yard stretch of the creek area where the trees never grow. There's never new blooms. There's never leaves. There's no flowers. It's just like creepy, and it looks like the middle of winter. Mm-hmm. And parts of course, the creek area is still filled with trees and leaves, but this section where we are at is like creepy, ghastly looking. It's like there's no life over there. Wow. Very creepy, very scary. So we go back, and every time we go there, because we make a point to go back every year just to go. And I tell you, every time that we go, when I go home, me and my buddy, Brian, we both kind of have like nightmares about it. My buddy Darren, he moved to Texas, and to this day, as I said, he never talks about it because if he even thinks about it immediately, he's just like it's never happened because there's something going on with him. I always try to talk to him, but as I said, he's in Texas, but something affected him big time. And so, yeah, I thought I'd share that to you guys. I was getting out of work, and I was catching your show, and so I give a quick call, and I saw that you always like calls, and I just remember because I never really shared this with anybody, and I thought it'd be a good little story to pass on to you guys.
Absolutely.
Excellent, brother. It's always great hearing from you, and you know, we've missed you, but I understand life just changes sometimes, but yeah, it's great to hear from you whenever you can make it, brother, and feel free to always call in, and thank you so much for those stories. They were awesome.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah. All right, Don, hey, Brett, good seeing you guys, and enjoy the show.
Absolutely.
All right, brother. We'll
Thanks,
talk to you
bud.
soon. Take care.
All right, guys. All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. You know, you get to somewhere that, you know, there's a story, you know, you're coming up on a place like you said, you know, and things happen. You know, I would probably have to, you know, do a, you know, code brown underwear scraping after something like that. I'd be like,
that's, you know, it's the whole no head thing that really,
right. Yeah.
It's like, why do they have to show up like that?
Yeah.
I know that's maybe they represent the condition they died in, but I don't think they have to. I don't think that that's like a rule.
Right.
Like, you must now appear with no head. So if they're not, it's got to be just to screw with people. It's got to be just to, I don't know, maybe it's practical jokers or something. You know what I mean? Not that I don't believe it's really spiritual. I do.
Well, the spirit itself
Right.
being a practical
Yeah,
joker. Kind of
exactly
like I would be, I'm sure.
Like, hey, guys, watch this. I'm going to walk down there with no head. Let's watch how it screws up those guys.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't know. It's just very strange.
Wow.
Because I really believe that spirits can, you know, they can appear however they choose to, but they must choose to, like, not have heads sometimes. Now, granted, the lady was decapitated, and so that would be her death condition, but
Right.
I don't know that are they locked in that? Is that a rule? Now, whenever you pass before you transition, you have to appear with no head. So that's the bizarre part. I don't know. Very cool stories, though, man. Thank you so much for calling in again, Rob. That was great. And it's good to hear from you. We've missed you.
Absolutely.
So,
That's awesome.
Are you ready for more?
Sure.
I can give you more.
Pour it on.
All right. So I don't think I read this one. Yeah. Okay. So it says, my family and I would take a walk every evening up to the boardwalk. And it would be my 3-year-old son, my fiance, and myself. And we would cut through a street and go to the beach. And one night a car sped through and it said a car sped through, and right when we were turning, it turned. I don't know how, and I know this sounds crazy. The car seemed like it went through us as we were all unhurt, and the lady stopped short after the accident and just looked baffled.
Wow.
It was like we were lifted or something, and I don't know how it happened, but I felt so strange after. My whole body was alive. I know an angel helped us that night.
Wow.
What an amazing time for something like that to show up, though, you know? It's just defies imagination. They have impeccable timing when they do show up.
yeah.
They really do.
Yeah, no
It's
doubt.
like, this is not supposed to happen tonight. It's kind of like that adjustment bureau that we kind of talk about every once in a while. Like, maybe these angelic encounters are just the adjustment bureau going, no, that's not right. Fix that. Hey, Becky, go fix that one before it happens, you know?
Hey, do you see this idiot over here? Can you grab him, please?
Yeah. Right. Like, they can just know what's going to happen.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Where was I now? I forgot to look at the title of that last one. So I got to make sure that I'm at the right place. I don't know if I am or not. Let me pull this one open. No, I did this one.
That's fine. Yeah.
I did that one. Sorry, I just lost my spot. I'm a little flabbergasted. All right, maybe it's this one. Okay. Yeah, okay. This one says Saved by an Angel.
Sweet.
One Friday afternoon in the fall of 1991, I was coming home from college in Alabama. My twin brother was driving our Chevrolet pickup truck, And I was riding in the passenger front seat, and it had been a long week of school, and we were both absolutely exhausted. And since we had an hour drive home from Selma to Clanton, I decided to lay my head over against the passenger window and just rest. My brother was very drowsy and soon fell asleep. My twin brother managed to drive for a quarter mile asleep, drifting into the northbound lane.
Wow.
Seconds before hitting head on with an 18-wheeler, an angel hit me on the right shoulder, waking me up, and I say hit because it was so much more than a tap. I can still feel it when I close my eyes, and all I had time to yell was, "Jesus!" My brother wakened up and swerved our truck to the left shoulder. It was too late. The transfer truck hit my passenger side and our front bumper through where I was laying against the glass.
Yeah.
As it seemed to go by in slow motion, I remember the silence and how there was no impact and no sound. All I could say was, did we just get hit by a truck? Our truck was a total mangled mess.
Wow.
Undrivable. The man in the truck jumped out and ran to see if we were okay. He kept saying, I was always taught in driving to school to stay in my lane, but something forced my steering wheel into the other lane, and I'm so glad it did because you wouldn't be here otherwise.
Oh, wow.
The police officer showed me where the truck made impact with our pickup. It was 1/8 of an inch from being a real head-on impact. 17 years later, as I tell this amazing story to my children, I still wonder why no impact, no sound, until my 12-year-old son said, Dad, didn't the angel hit you on your right shoulder? Yes, I said. That's where the angel was the whole time, taking the blow of the impact, protecting you so that you can be my dad and be here today.
Oh, wow.
My life has never been the same since. He quotes a Bible verse, Psalms 91:11-12. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone.
Huh.
Wow, very, very powerful.
That's actually kind of apropos for the situation.
Right, yeah.
You know, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I think it's incredible. That's an amazing story. No sound because the angel took all of the impact. Those angels, they're tough stuff.
That's crazy. Yeah, those are really cool, crazy, kind of stories.
Well, they're good stories,
Yeah.
They just make you feel good. And I guess the takeaway from all of this, we got another caller too. I'll get to this in just a second, but the takeaway from all this is that, we're not necessarily doing this all alone. Maybe
Right.
there's somebody watching over our shoulder, helping to correct the wheel as we steer through life. I sure hope so. Like there's an autopilot that kicks in, like the angel autopilot.
Take the correct wheel, not the left front.
All right, let's see who our caller is. Area code 928. You are on the air.
Hey, Brent. Hey, Don. This is Mogian Monster.
Mogian, how you
guys
doing, brother?
doing?
We're doing good, brother. How you doing?
I am so glad that I didn't interrupt that story.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that was good.
I had my finger on send and something said, nope, wait.
Okay.
And I listened to that and I got chills.
Oh,
right.
But I was going to call in before that anyway. I don't know. This is a weird story, but I think everything I say is, all these stories are a little weird. Back in December, it was December 7th. I was at work. We had lunch, and we ordered Chinese food. With the Chinese food, you get a fortune cookie.
Uh-huh.
And I'm always into the fortunes,
Sure.
And read it once, put it in my pocket. Forgot about it. Got home and realized when I got home that it was my nephew's birthday and we were having company. Mm-hmm. And I was like, crap, I just wasn't in the mood for company right at that moment. So anyway, I walk in from the carport into the kitchen,
mm-hmm.
and my nephew has his back to me and he's doing dishes. And he's got his music playing. And he's really into Christian music, and
mm-hmm.
He'll probably end up being a pastor someday. But
cool.
I didn't pay attention to it. I was like, oh, Christian music, whatever. And I walked through the kitchen and walked out the sliding glass doors, surprised to have a cigarette. And I have a cigarette, and I walk back through the kitchen, and I get to the living room. I still hear his music. I don't hear anything. I don't hear like the lyrics or anything.
Right.
I turn the corner and I'm walking down the hall, heading to my bedroom, and all of a sudden I do hear the lyrics. 2 lyrics popped into my head that I heard, and it was the lyric was, "You can make a wish, or you can knock on wood."
Mm-hmm.
And just like the guy said previously about the voice in the head,
Yeah.
I had the same thing, because as soon as I heard those lyrics, the voice in my head, I heard it said, "Turn around." And I immediately said, "Okay." And I turned around and I walked back, and I knew why I was turning around. And I yelled to my nephew, I said, "Dude, is that on your playlist?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, do me a favor, just play it again." So I'm listening to it, and I'm like, "Dude, is that Reba McEntire?" He's like, "Yeah, she did this song with so-and-so. I don't know who this Christian singer was." And I was like, "No kidding." So I immediately look up the lyrics, and while the song is playing, because I was listening to it, but I wasn't listening to it.
Sure.
And I'm like, as I'm reading it, I hear like the song in my head, but I hear my friend's voice singing it. I'm like, this she could really do this song justice. So the song, by the way, is called "Back to God."
Okay.
And I pick up my phone and I text my friend, and I'm like, "Hey, do me a favor, learn this song. I really want to hear you sing it." Gave her the name of the song, the artist. And as soon as I push send, now I'm leaning over like on the table, hit the phone's on the table, so I'm leaning over. I'm 6'3". I have to lean over. So as soon as I hit send, I started crying. Now I immediately snap up, and I'm like, "What the hell?" And I try choking it back, like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
And I couldn't talk, because every time I started to say something, I started crying again.
Wow.
So my sister asks, "What's the name of the song?" And by the time I got the word God out, I'm bawling. And I had to like excuse myself, and I go back outside, and I'm standing on the patio, and I'm trying to compose myself, and I'm like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, this is just weird.
Right.
And I look to my left, and I'm underneath a patio, like I'm on a patio, but it's covered, and I'm standing at the open edge.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm facing south, and I just happen to look up, and I'm looking to this open sky, and I just get this feeling of truth. It's like it's almost like it's coming in waves. Just this truth, like pulsing at me in my head. All they feel is truth. And I'm like, "What the hell is this?" And then I get this overwhelming feeling that something's being revealed to me. But I'm like, this is bizarre, and I couldn't figure it out. And my sister had come outside at that point, and she's sitting there, and she sees I'm in distress. And I'm like, I couldn't talk. And finally, she walked away, and I composed myself, and I went inside, and I was like, "What the hell was that?" Because I said, those weird stories I tell? I said, this is another one. And I while it was happening, I knew what it was, but I didn't want to admit it. Like, I knew it was divine. It was God.
Sure.
It was whatever. I knew what it, but I didn't want to go, I didn't want to admit it. I didn't want to acknowledge it. Like, and it was because the first thought that came into my head, which was ridiculous, is like, crap, I don't want to have to go to church because God's talking to me, or he's not talking, but there's something going on. And then I was like, that's stupid. You don't go to church now. So, I am spiritual, not religious,
Yeah.
So I go inside, and my sister's like, "You okay?" And I tried to tell her what was happening, and she goes, well, God works in mysterious ways, and I'm still like not wanting to hear God,
right.
even though I knew what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'll be right back. And I go into my bedroom. Finally, I get there, and I'm emptying out my pockets, and I get to the bottom of my pocket, and I feel this piece of paper, and I'm like, oh crap! I remembered what was in my pocket, and it was the fortune that I had gotten at lunch.
Right.
So I just remembered one word in the fortune, and it was the last word, and it was truth. So when I took it out of my pocket, I didn't open my hand. I didn't read it again. I'd read it once when I opened it, but I hadn't read it since. So I go into the kitchen. I said, hey, Kim, come here. I said, you saw what just happened. You just witnessed that, whatever, that was bizarre. I said, well, check this out. I said, I went to lunch today, and this is the fortune. I said, I haven't read it since the first time. And it says this: be patient, pleasant, and open, and you will see more truths.
Wow.
So I told this story to my friend, and she said, well, you had a revelation. And I was like, no, that's too biblical. I'm like, I didn't want to admit it then, even though, and then I was like, oh wait, revelation, I said it was revealing. Okay, you're right. And to this day, I'm still scratching my head going, what was it all about?
Right.
Sure. Well, that's pretty powerful stuff, though.
So,
whenever that stuff happens,
yeah.
You got to pay attention because something's trying to tell you.
Oh, no, I've been trying to figure it out. And, I've only told this story like 3 times, so it's new to me.
Sure.
Some of those other stories I've been telling for years. This one, I'm shaking. I'm literally, I'm nervous, and because I've, but yeah, that's the story.
It's a beautiful story, man. I'm really honored to hear it, and thank you for sharing it here with us. And
oh, my pleasure, man. I don't know what it was about, but
I'm sure that'll be.
It was paranormal.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much, man. It's great to hear from you.
My pleasure.
Excellent.
All right, man. Well, you guys have a wonderful night.
Yeah, you too, brother.
Everybody in chat, thanks for listening.
Anytime, man. Call in whenever
you
want.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Okay,
all right,
we'll see ya.
So William in the chat says we need to start stopping people after they say, I lit a cigarette and ask what brand, because apparently and Cha said it too. No, it was Duke. Duke said cigarettes causes paranormal or cryptid encounters. Yeah. And of course Cha says that's a shirt. So
it sure
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Oh, we got another call, and this is area code 619. Welcome to the show. Hello.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
I remember you. Where have you been?
I've been here.
Oh, well, it's good to hear from you.
Anyway, here. I've been here.
Wonderful. Well,
I've been here.
I'm glad you're here now.
Me too.
Oh, so what's going on tonight, Regla?
I want to share with you all my experience with angels, because with one of them anyway, because I had one and they are real.
Oh, sure.
And so I've been. That was a great call, by the way.
Yeah.
Last call, that was really great, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it relieved me of thinking about this, which was, how can you talk about having an experience with angels without some kind of a backstory? Because it's not like you just, I guess some people do just have experiences and all of a sudden there's an angel. I guess that's possible as well. But mine there was crisis going on in my life. And so this one happened a long time ago, 1975. it was. So I was very young, and there was a crisis, lots of crisis going on, and I had had a spiritual experience, and so there was also a lot of other physical phenomena, is what I would call it, spiritual physical phenomena that had occurred, but on this one particular night, I just couldn't stand it any longer. You know, I was dealing with alcoholism, really, and so at 19 years old, I had the kind of, I could drink like, we're talking like, and I'm not exaggerating, I was drinking and vomiting in my sleep, and I could drink like a case of beer, and just nonstop. I was drinking, going into bars in New York City and drinking empty beer bottles, you know, because I couldn't afford the beer myself. It was a very bad situation.
Yeah.
And I had this spiritual experience and ended up in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
And was not drinking. So I'm going to bypass all of the other stuff. So here I am now at 7 days, no drinking, 19 years old, but in this very interesting spiritual experience, series of spiritual experiences, and just having met other people who were going to be in my life. Some of them, these people still are in my life for the rest of my life. I didn't know that at the time.
Sure.
But and I have, it was October of 1975. And what happened was, so I really, literally sat up in bed and said the word, it was like beer. I remember I woke myself up, literally saying the word beer. It was like, I just had to have it. Like I just couldn't stand it anymore. And I remember it was 6 days. 6 days I had not had any beer. And you know, it's interesting. It was I didn't really want to stop drinking either. I have to say that about this whole thing that was going on.
Sure.
You know? It was a very strange and interesting situation. But there was this spiritual experience that was happening because I had called out to the universe, like, is there or isn't there a God? Right. I needed to know. Right. I knew that these wars, every war that had been fought on the planet had been fought about this. If you thought about it, you know,
yeah,
was there or wasn't there? And what kind of a God was it, if there was or wasn't one? Sure. And I needed to know, and I asked the universe that one day, sitting on a cliff in the park, and then I had this experience, you know, 6 days before that, and ended up and had all these. Anyway, I couldn't stand it another minute, and the disease or whatever it was just like got me, and I sat straight up in bed and just beer. And the house that I was living in, which was my father's house in Kailua, Hawaii, I had been transported there. I say it that way because that's the way it seemed, because before that, remember, I had been in New York City.
Right, yep.
I had been living. Okay, so the life path led me there. There I was. I'm talking like a nut, because when you talk about this spiritual stuff, it gets that way. It's like a different track or something, a different energy path or something. Anyway, I'm getting back to this thing with the angels, this thing that happened with the angels. So I say beer, it wakes me up, and then I know it's over. I say that to myself. When I sat up, I went, oh, well, you know, it's over. Okay, lasted 6 days, you know, it's over. And all of a sudden, as I'm telling you the story, it's like I can viscerally start to remember, and standing in front of me with these there were three of them, these really tall, very light, and it was the white. It was a different kind of white. That's all I can say about it. A very different kind of white, very tall, almost a little bit of yellow, like golden kind of stuff. But it was a feeling that came with them, that came out of them, that passed through me, that was this feeling of love that I had never felt in my life before. That was this feeling of love and calmness. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, this is what love is. Oh my God, there is such a thing. Wow, you know? And I went, oh my, and I said to them, oh my God, you're real? And you know, that's what I said to them. And they, you know, and they just like vibed me back with the love, you know, yes, we are, of course we are. And I just went, wow, and I can tell people about you, you know, and they went, sure. Oh, okay. You know, and then I just laid back and went to sleep.
Wow.
And then the next day, you know, I told the people that, you know, we went to the noon meet and I ate my popcorn because I remember that's the deal I had made with myself. You know, I could eat popcorn for breakfast if I didn't drink. You know, we met the people who went to the beach, you know, in the noon meeting. That's what we did back then. It was fun, but
that's really powerful. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very powerful. Very awesome. Very powerful.
I'm really thrilled.
And what was interesting to me about it now, what's very interesting to me about it now, is that, you see, it did turn out that even though it seems like a little thing, you know, that I didn't drink beer that night, it seems like such a little thing. In terms when I look back on, you know, what turned out to be my particular life path, it was very, very, very important that I did not drink that night.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think you're right. There was something that you needed to not do in order to continue on. Maybe you don't know, right?
No, I do know. There was, you know, you know, if there's things, you know, I wouldn't call it destiny, but you know, I do think maybe we're sort of wired.
Yeah.
You know, we come in wired to do certain things, and you know, I did sort of have a past to do and things to do. And
oh, well, that's so cool, and it's so cool to hear from you again. I missed you so much.
Well, thanks. I'm listening. I'm here.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of the show again, and I hope you're always smiling.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, Regula. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Okay. All right, you too.
Okay,
bye.
See ya.
Wow, nice to hear from Regula.
Yeah, she's been with us since the start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Haven't heard from her for a long time, but that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
it's
wonderful.
nice to know she's out there, you know, and sharing that story, you know, because, you know, maybe it was just that one night that had she, and I'm just projecting, you know, thinking, you know, but, you know, maybe it was just that one night that showed her that she didn't need that anymore, you know, or you know, it put her on that path, you know, and and that's great to hear, you know, because who knows what could have happened that night, you know, she could not be around if she, you know, had drank that night, you know, and
I think she ended up having an experience that she needed to have and wouldn't have had if she'd gone drinking. So I think that's what she was going at. But yeah, very cool.
That's very awesome.
Very awesome. Never just know. You just don't know. There are no ordinary moments, right? If you ever get a chance and you're into some spiritual reading, check out The Way of the Peaceful Warrior with from Dan Millman. Very good book. It's one of the books I read when I was in maybe 20, and it was really a great book. And there's actually a movie on Prime that's based on it, very loosely based on it, but based on it to a degree. But very interesting, and it's a fun movie to watch. But you know, if you get a chance, and the movie itself is called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior or The Peaceful Warrior, something like that. But yeah. Great books, but I don't know, Don. I think it's 9 bells.
Yeah, I think it's past 9 bells. I think it's working on another one. It's starting that 10th one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, but I think that's going to wrap it up for us, Don. Anything in closing?
No, just wow, it's been a great show. Thank you to everybody who called in. And you know, I hope that, you know, somebody heard something that helps them at least a little bit tonight.
Yeah, good point, Don. Thank you.
You know, just you know, maybe they needed to hear something that, you know, pushes them in the right direction or whatnot.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Yeah, thank you everybody for calling in and taking part of the show tonight. It's just awesome to hear your stories and hear the things you guys have seen and experienced. That's amazing to us. And your guys' participation is...
That's amazing to us, too.
Cha-Cha's just not satisfied. She doesn't want it to be over. But like all good things, Cha-Cha, there must come to an end. But there will be another show tomorrow, I promise. If you tune in tomorrow night, I'll be back with the bedtime stories then. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, Friday night, Deborah Varner will be here doing readings on the show. So 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here. Same phone number and everything. But... Sorry, Cha-Cha. She's just lamenting this.
No,
She's just having... Let's have a moment for Cha-Cha.
She's already having withdrawals.
There can be only so much Portal in a night. But anyway, guys, I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. Check out our site on Teespring if you want a shirt, a sticker, a mug, or a cell phone case, or whatever you're looking for. There's lots of things that are emblazoned with the Portal logo on them. So, and it certainly goes a long way to help us continue the show and continue forward with the show.
Yes, absolutely.
Make sure to follow us on Facebook. We're over 1,000 now, so we're going to come up with a giveaway plan for the Saturday show. We're going to give away a T-shirt, a hat, and a mug.
Don't go too hard on those hats yet.
No?
I still haven't gotten them figured
Dope.
out. I'm working on them.
All right,
I didn't know we were going to do it like this Saturday.
Well, you know, it's just...
I will work on that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we're going to put it all together. But anyway, love you all. And we will see you tomorrow night on the Bedtime Stories. If you're not doing anything and looking for something to do, it's about 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You're like, hey, what should I do? Come join me on the Portal for the Bedtime Stories. And then Friday night, Deb's here. And then Saturday night, Don returns. And we have a special guest, Mr. Stephen Majors, who is the founder of Extreme Expeditions Northwest, and who also put out the movie The Search for the Port Chatham Hairy Man. Yes. And a very good movie. They just documenting the first ever expedition up to Port Chatham, right, which is one of the only towns ever to be abandoned because of an aggressive Sasquatch killing people.
And you can see that on Prime if you need to prime up.
You can prime up. Prime the pump, ladies and gentlemen.
You got a couple days.
All right. So he'll be joining us for the first hour anyway on the show.
Right.
So we'll look for you guys then. But all right, guys, love you. We're going to go and have whatever rest of the night we can have. But thank you guys for being a part of the shows, and thanks for being here.
Oh, and shout out to the Thumbs Down Dick.
Oh, Thumbs Down Dick was still here?
Yeah, just apparently came in.
It was a drive-by dick. Just throwing those stickers out there, those thumbs down. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Good night, everybody.
Love you.
Duerme bien. All right.
See ya.
Good night, everybody. See ya. That's it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to push it.
Are you sure?
I'm going to do it.
I push that button. You push that button. You just push.
I was thinking, Don. All right. Good night, everybody. It's so hard to say good night. It's just hard. It's tough for me.
Good night, Mary Ellen.
Good night, John boy.